Greetings everyone and welcome back to the channel. In a new twist to the ongoing tensions within Zimbabwe's ruling party, ZANU-PF, President Emmerson Mnangagwa has made a bold move. He's refusing to condemn party spokesperson Christopher Mutsvangwa amid a heated fallout with Vice President Constantino Chiwenga. During a recent press briefing, Mnangagwa stated that intervening in this conflict would only make things worse for the party. His message was clear. The dispute between Mutsvangwa and Vice President Chiwenga is something that should be handled privately, without outside interference. Emmerson Mnangagwa said, "I believe that this matter must be settled within the party. Mutsvangwa and Vice President Chiwenga are both respected leaders, and it is for them to resolve their differences. My involvement could only deepen the rift, and that is not what we need at this time." This comes after growing public tensions between Mutsvangwa and Chiwenga, which has stirred speculation about divisions within the ruling party, despite calls for Mnangagwa to take a stronger stance. The president has opted to remain neutral, insisting that internal party issues should be resolved internally. Christopher Mutsvangwa, a longtime ally of Mnangagwa and a key spokesperson for ZANU-PF, has found himself at odds with other party leaders, particularly Chiwenga. However, Mnangagwa's refusal to intervene in this clash has sparked mixed reactions from both party supporters and critics. By not condemning Mutsvangwa, Mnangagwa is trying to preserve unity within the party. He understands that taking sides could alienate one faction or the other, and that could have lasting consequences. As the situation continues to evolve, the spotlight remains on ZANU-PF's internal struggles. Will Mutsvangwa and Chiwenga manage to mend their differences? Or will this political fallout escalate even further, with party unity at stake? All eyes are on the leaders of ZANU-PF to see how they handle this delicate situation. Could this be a turning point for Zimbabwe's ruling party? Zimbabwean war veteran and political activist Blessed Bombshell Geza has reaffirmed that the planned M31 protests will proceed as scheduled on Monday, March 31st, 2025. Geza, often referred to as the Gaza commander, is expected to release a video statement ahead of the demonstrations to address the nation and rally support. After a period of remaining out of the public eye, Geza re-emerged this week, calling for unity among Zimbabweans in the lead-up to the protests. He has been vocal in urging citizens to participate in the peaceful and constitutional demonstrations aimed at demanding accountability and systemic change within the government. In a recent video, Geza emphasized his unwavering commitment to the cause, stating that he is not retreating from his stance. He has also announced a special address to the nation, scheduled for 20:30 tonight, March 26, 2025, which will be broadcast on YouTube. The Zimbabwe Mail authorities have responded to the planned protests by deploying a significant police presence. In anticipation of potential unrest, the government has expressed concerns about the demonstrations, while opposition figures have had varied reactions to Geza's calls for action. YouTube as the date approaches, citizens are encouraged to stay informed and exercise their rights peacefully, adhering to legal guidelines during the demonstrations. Zimbabwe Army Crisis. Generals defy Mnangagwa over Sanyatwe removal tensions. Rising in Zimbabwe as top army leaders refuse to follow President Emmerson Mnangagwa's directive to reassign Lieutenant General Anselm Namo Sanyatwe. The president had ordered Sanyatwe's transfer to the Ministry of Sport, Recreation, Arts, and Culture, but the generals are pushing back, arguing that the move is illegal under the Defense Act. According to the law, the removal of a high-ranking military official requires parliamentary notification and a proper handover process. Since this hasn't happened, the generals insist that Sanyatwe remains the legitimate army chief. Secret purge in the army. Amid the standoff, reports suggest that Mnangagwa's inner circle has issued a secret directive to sideline officers loyal to Sanyatwe. This could involve forced retirements or strategic reassignments aimed at eliminating opposition within the military ranks. Potential crisis as M31 protests approach. This internal power struggle comes at a critical time, with the March 31st protests just days away. Analysts warn that instability in the military could escalate into a full-blown crisis, potentially leading to larger political and security concerns for Zimbabwe. Army leaders are standing firm, seeing Mnangagwa's move as politically motivated. This showdown poses a significant challenge to the president's authority. If the situation worsens, some fear the military could step in, further destabilizing Zimbabwe's political landscape. The next few days will be crucial in determining whether Mnangagwa can maintain control or if he's facing a major power shift within the country. ZANU-PF rejects M31 protests, calls organizers donor-funded. The ruling ZANU-PF party has dismissed the planned March 31st protests as illegitimate, alleging that the organizers are driven by financial motives rather than genuine national concerns. ZANU-PF's Director of Information, Farai Marapira, stated that certain elements within the protest movement are only interested in securing donor funding. These protesters are not genuine. Some elements want to benefit from donor funding, and their case has nothing to do with national interest, Marapira said. Government remains unfazed, security on high alert. Despite growing public anticipation, ZANU-PF insists that the demonstrations will not disrupt the country. Marapira reassured supporters, saying, "It will, however, be business as usual on March 31st. However, behind the scenes, state security forces have been placed on high alert, preparing for any potential unrest." Zimbabwe has a long history of crackdowns on protests, and analysts warn that demonstrators could face heavy police action. Opposition and critics push back, while the ruling party downplays the protests. Opposition leaders and civil society groups argue that the demonstrations reflect growing frustration over Zimbabwe's economic decline and corruption and political repression. A political analyst, speaking anonymously, said, "The economy is collapsing, civil liberties are being eroded, and the cost of living is unbearable. People have real grievances, and dismissing them as donor-funded operatives does not address the core issues." With both sides gearing up for a politically charged day, all eyes are on March 31st. Will Zimbabweans defy the government's warnings and take to the streets? Or will intimidation tactics suppress the movement? Stay tuned for updates. President Mnangagwa attends ZANU-PF Politburo session, calls for unity, and development President Emmerson Mnangagwa was seen arriving at the ZANU-PF headquarters for the 382nd Ordinary Session of the Politburo, marking a significant moment in Zimbabwe's political landscape. During the session, President Mnangagwa emphasized unity and solidarity within the ruling party, stating, "We must work together as a united front to overcome the challenges facing our nation and ensure a brighter future for all Zimbabweans." Key highlights from the Politburo meeting: economic reforms and development. The president reaffirmed his administration's commitment to policies that drive economic growth and improve citizens' livelihoods. "We will continue to implement policies that promote growth and prosperity, creating a more stable and prosperous nation," he stated. Party support and commitment. Senior ZANU-PF officials expressed their full support for President Mnangagwa's leadership. One party leader remarked, "We stand behind the president and his vision to build a stronger Zimbabwe. Unity and stability." The session concluded with renewed calls for unity and stability within the party. As Mnangagwa left the venue, he expressed confidence in ZANU-PF's ability to overcome challenges and steer Zimbabwe toward a better future. With growing political and economic challenges in the country, this meeting set the tone for ZANU-PF's strategic direction. In the coming months, will the party's plans translate into real change for Zimbabweans? Mnangagwa's cabinet reshuffled to weaken Chiwenga. President Emerson Mnangagwa is reportedly planning a major cabinet reshuffle in what analysts see as a move to undermine Vice President Constantino Chiwenga, amid growing tensions within ZANU-PF over the party's future leadership, the Standard reports. Rising factionalism in ZANU-PF. The anticipated shakeup comes at a time when deep divisions within ZANU-PF are becoming more apparent. Mnangagwa loyalists have grown increasingly wary of Chiwenga's alleged presidential ambitions, as some party members push for an extension of Mnangagwa's rule until 2030, a move widely seen as an attempt to block Chiwenga's path to power. Changes expected in the reshuffle. Sports Minister Kirsty Coventry's exit, with Coventry expected to step down after being elected IOC President. Mnangagwa has an opportunity to realign his government in favour of his allies. Sanyatwe's promotion. The Zimbabwe National Army ZNA commander, a close ally of Chiwenga, is reportedly being considered as Coventry's replacement. Analysts believe this is a tactical maneuver by Mnangagwa to shift Sanyatwe to a civilian role, potentially weakening Chiwenga's military support. CIO Deputy Director Asha Walter Tapfumaneyi to lead ZNA. Tapfumaneyi, a key figure in Mnangagwa's 2023 re-election campaign, is rumoured to be a possible replacement for Sanyatwe as ZNA commander. This could bolster Mnangagwa's influence within the security sector, further limiting Chiwenga's power base. Chido Sanyatwe's role to change. The Deputy Minister of Home Affairs and wife of Anselm Sanyatwe is also rumoured to be on the move. A possible full ministerial appointment could remove her from direct influence over the police force, reducing the Chiwenga faction's reach. Within law enforcement, Mutsvangwa exposes internal rifts. ZANU-PF spokesperson Christopher Mutsvangwa recently publicly accused Chiwenga of seeking Mnangagwa's endorsement as his successor. Mutsvangwa, who is also believed to have presidential ambitions, argued that Mnangagwa's extended rule beyond 2028 is necessary to prevent Chiwenga from consolidating power. With internal power struggles intensifying, the looming cabinet reshuffle could reshape Zimbabwe's political landscape. Will Mnangagwa's strategy succeed in neutralizing Chiwenga's influence, or will it escalate tensions within ZANU-PF? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Stay tuned for updates.